Which exact date are you writing your test? Okay, you check it and then you tell me, because I wanted to maybe try to organize another class during the weekend. I wanted to do another class during the weekend. I will inform you. Right. So today I want to continue with capital budgeting. So we'll do the October 2021 paper. Right. (25th of May). Okay, so that means around Thursday next week. Okay, so we'll organize. I will try to organize another class maybe during the weekend. I will confirm. If not during the weekend, then maybe we'll see maybe Monday, Tuesday, so that we can have a longer session. Then we can try to organize a longer session. If we fail during the weekend, I will try to organize a longer session Monday or Tuesday. Right, let's look at question 2. Right, the first part. Lambo Limited wishes to install automated inventory monitoring and handling equipment at a cost of 2.4 million. This will result in an improvement in the supply chain process. This is expected to result in before tax annual savings of 900,000 for 6 years. The expected residual value in 6 years' time is expected to be 0 due to expected advances in technology. SARS will allow the company to depreciate the equipment on a straight line basis over 6 years. Right. The company's cost of capital is 12%, and the corporate tax rate is 28%. The corporate tax rate is 28%. Right. So then calculate the NPV of the new equipment using the net present value method. Right. Right. Calculation of NPV. So we'll leave our year. Zero, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Remember, year 0 is the year that you invest. Right. So we'll have our, first of all, we'll have our initial investment of 2.4 million. So we'll have our initial investments. Which is 2.4. It will be negative because you'll be pumping out money. right? Then we are told that this will result in annual before tax annual savings of 900,000. So we'll have annual savings then income tax expense. Right, then we can do a calculation of the income tax expense here. The only item which is not included up there, which has to be included in income tax, would be the wear and tear. So we're told that SARS will allow the company to depreciate the equipment on a straight line basis over 6 years, which is exactly equal to our project period. So say that's year 1 to 6. We can just do one calculation because every year there are no differences in this particular question. So when there are no differences, your calculation of tax, you can bunch it. Right. We have got the annual savings, which is 900,000. Then we'll have our wear and tear, which is 900,000. Sorry, the cost of the asset 2.4 million divided by 6, because they said SARS is providing the allowance over 6 years, which is equal to negative 400,000. Then we get our taxable income, which is equal to right. Then we get our income tax expense at 28%. What do we get? What are we getting? I'm waiting for you guys to find 500,000 times 28%. Let's be fast so that we can cover everything. Maybe let me do this. We have to be fast, guys, so that we can be able to progress. If we are not fast, we will not progress. 140,000. Thank you so much. So our tax would be 140,000 every year. Right. Then we get our net cash flow for each year. Right. Then we have to incorporate our discount factor. Remember from the other class that we did, they say it is 12%. So you go on your tables and check the discount factors on table A under 12% from year 1 to year 6. Note that on your tables, there is no year 0. So year 0 is always equal to 1, the discount factor. So the discount factors that you get from the tables, they start on year 1. So that means discount factors at the cost of capital, which is at 12%. We get 1 for the first year. Then we get 0.893, 0.797, 0.712, 0.636, 0.567, 0.507. Right. Then we get our present value. To get your present value for each year, you multiply this the net cash flow times the discount factor. So we say this is equal to the net cash flow times discount factor. We do the same for all the other years. Right. Then we get our net present value. Net present value, you add up the present values for each year. So we add up from year 0 up to year 6. 725, 120. That would be our net present value. Now, if they say comments, you know that they should accept the project because it has got a positive NPV. If a project has got a negative NPV, they reject. But if it is a positive NPV, then they will have to accept. Let's see if they are asking us also to comment. Right, they just said calculate. But if they said also comment, then we're going to say they should accept the new project, considering that the NPV is positive. Right. Then the next question is calculate the IRR of investment using a financial calculator clearly showing all inputs. Right, when you are using your financial calculator to find your IRR, you only use these cash flows here. So that means first of all, you need these cash flows. Right, so you can say internal rate of return. Right, you can say cash flow 0 is equal to negative 2.4. Cash flow 1 is equal to 760,000. Cash flow 2 is equal to 760,000. Cash flow 3 is equal to 760,000. Cash flow 4 is equal to 760,000. Cash flow 5 is equal to 760,000. Cash flow 6 is equal to 760,000. Then you compute your IRR. If you are using Sharp, then you know that you have to say second function, the cash button, down arrow, then compute. If you are using the HP, it's just second function, then we go on that function that is called IRR. Right. So in this case, if we calculate our IRR, we are going to get, okay, let me just put my cash flows here. Negative 2.4. Oh, they are there up there. I can simply say equal to IRR I convert this to a percentage. It's okay. We get, so if you use your financial calculator, you're going to get 22.12%. And if they ask us to comment, we would say that they should accept the project because the IRR is more than the cost of capital of 12%. As long as your IRR is more than the cost of capital, then the project can be accepted. Any questions? Right. I would move on to the next one. Part 2. Master Supplies is a company involved in the transport of produce from Free State to Johannesburg metropolitan area. The company is evaluating the purchase of 2 new refrigerated trucks, which are expected to be more economical than 2 of the current trucks due to advances in refrigeration technology and improved economy. The company expects to achieve the increase in before tax earnings of 432,000 per year. Now you should know that before tax earnings, they include depreciation. This is made up of it follows cash flow savings 222 per year and cash reduction in claims of 180,000 per year, as well as reduction of fixed costs of 30,000 per year. In analysis of the fixed costs indicated an increase in annual accounting depreciation of 120,000 and a reduction of cash fixed costs of 150,000 per year, which resulted in net deduction of 30,000 per year. So we should know that when we calculate our cash flows, we shouldn't include the depreciation because the depreciation is nothing to do with cash flows. Right, the claims arise from not meeting quality variations in product temperatures. The total cost of the 2 new trucks is 1.2 million. The current trucks, which have tax values of 0, can be sold for 150,000 each. The future residual value of the existing trucks is expected to be 0 in year 5. Right. The residual value of the new trucks in 5 years' time is expected to be 300,000. Then they say the company's cost of capital is 14% and corporate tax rate is 28%. The tax effects on the sale of the existing trucks will occur at the same time as the sale. Right. So we're going to say right. Our first question is to calculate the incremental cash flows of investing in the new trucks. To calculate the incremental cash flows of investing in the two new trucks. Right. Calculation. Of incremental cash flows. Right. We take all the positive and the negatives except that depreciation. So we're told that the company expects to achieve increase in before tax earnings of 32,000. This is made up as follows: cash fuel savings of 222,000. So we'll have cash fuel savings of 222,000. That is a positive because it's a saving. Right. We'll have cash reduction in claims 180,000. That's a saving again. Cash reduction in claims 180,000. As well as reduction of fixed cost of 30,000. Okay, we'll not talk about this because we know the breakdown is here. An analysis of the fixed cost indicates that an increase in annual accounting depreciation of 120 will not include that. And the reduction of cash fixed cost of 150,000. So reduction in cash fixed costs. Right. Then we get our incremental cash flows. So incremental cash flows, they mean the savings and additional costs that will be arise because of undertaking the project, additional incomes and additional expenses that will arise from undertaking the project. That's 552,000. Any questions? Right. Then we have the second part. Determine the NPV of the investing in the trucks using the net present value method. Then we do our calculation of NPV. Right. Our project is supposed to check, let's check the number of years. Remember, these are two vehicles. They were talking about the residual is 5 years time. So they are expecting to sell the trucks after 5 years. Right. So there will be 5 years there. we'll have 0. Five years. Right. Would start from the company expects. They say that phase one, the investment. Right. The total cost of the 2 new trucks is 1.2 million. So initial investment. Negative 1.2 million. Right. Then we know that we've got those annual savings, incremental cash flows. We have 552,000. Right. Then we are told the future residual value of the existing trucks is expected to be 0 in 5 years' time. The residual value of the, they said what the current trucks, which have a tax value of 0, can be sold for 150 each. So there'll be sale of old trucks. So that would be 150,000. Right. Right. So that's it. The future residual value of the existing trucks is going to be 0 in 5 years' time. The residual value of the new trucks in 5 years' time is expected to be 300,000. So in 5 years' time, there will be the residual value of 300,000 each. So there will be 600,000. Was they said 300,000 each. Right. Then income tax expense. Right. Let's have our income tax calculation. Right. We'll have here, this time there is a separation here. We have 0, then we've got 1 to 4, then we've got 5. 5 is separated because there is now this time around we've separated 5 because there is this residual value. So the checks for year 5 will be different from other years. And there is year 0 because they said that if you see here, they said that the tax consequences of selling the trucks will happen at the same time. The tax effects on the sale of the trucks will occur at the same time as the sale. So that means that will happen also in year 0. So we're going to say we take those things like incremental cash flows, $552,000, $552,000. Sale of old trucks, 150,000. So the full amount will be recoupment. Because they said that the tax value was zero. The tax value was zero. But let's say if they said the tax value was, let's say 100,000, then you're going to put the recoupment at 150 minus 100,000. Right. Then we'd have our wear and tear. Now in this question, unfortunately, they didn't tell us the wear and tear. So maybe we can just assume that it's over the year of the 5 years of the use of the vehicles. So we can simply say it's 1.2 divided by 5. What do we get?
$240,000.
So I've just assumed because they didn't put the wear and tear. Right. Then there's recoupment. Which is the sale of the tax, which we have here, which is 600,000 in year 5. Then we get our net cash flow. Right. Then we'll have our income tax expense at 28%. Maybe let me just use Excel here so that we save on time. So please, you don't just divide by 5 for the wear and tear like what I did. You have to check what SARS is saying. But here I've just done that because they didn't tell us the rates that are being used by SARS. Right. So then we'll export these values to our calculation. So that will be equal to right, negative 87360. Right. Then we get our net cash flows. Right. Then discount factor at the cost of capital, which is we're told that our discount factor is 14%. 14%. Right. Year 1 is always 1. Right. From year 0, sorry, it's always 1. Then from year 1 going forward, you use your tables. You use the first table, please. You use the first table. So you'd say you take these figures here. So say 0.877. Then we have 0.769. Then we have 0.675. Then we have 0.592. Then we have 0.519. Right. Then we get our present value. We multiply your net cash flow times the discount factor. All right. Then you get your net present value. That means you add up all the other figures, all the present value. So that will be your net present value. Any questions? Right. Then our last question asks us to also determine the IRR using the financial calculator. So we can say our IRR exactly the same way that we did the other one. So we can say our, let me just do it here. So once I see my figures, IRR, right? We can say cash flow 0 is equal to negative 1,092,000. Cash flow 1 is equal to 407,489. Cash flow 2 is equal to 357,308. Cash flow 3 is equal to 313,632. Cash flow 4 is equal to 275,067. Cash flow 5 is equal to 465,356. Okay, this here. Right, then we find our IRR using a financial calculator. So that's 19.87%. Right. And the project can be accepted because the IRR of 19.87% is more than the cost of capital of 14%. Do we have any questions? Okay. Thank you so much. So if we don't have any questions, then we'll meet. Just check your groups on Friday. If there's a space, I will organize a class for weekend. But if there's no space, then we'll try to squeeze between Monday and Tuesday so that we can just do more questions. Thank you so much, and God bless you, Richard.